So I'll kind of try to talk through the big points that are important about Superhero Cycle. It's just going to be easier if I review a video instead of trying to like do a demonstration because stuff can go wrong if you're trying to do a demonstration and like having to pause all the time. So I'm just going to kind of talk through it while the video is playing and stop at a couple important points. So in the beginning, I'm obviously holding R2 and X so that I'm getting full speed immediately. That's obviously pretty important. You want to keep your lines pretty straight through here because otherwise you're just, going to be losing time, not taking good lines and things like that. This turn is actually kind of like sneakily difficult to do at full speed. You kind of have to like cut the stick at a certain timing. So you can either let off the gas a little bit as you're going up the hill. So just let off the gas completely and then like make this turn. I do recommend going this way. Or you can just kind of like turn the stick after you get over the top of the hill. You don't really want to do it as you're going up the hill because you'll end up flinging yourself off to the side. You can kind of see that. Like, don't go over this because the car will flip. Go up the flat part. Whoop. I've accidentally did that. But yeah, don't go up the side. Go up like the middle. I'm trying to make it play slower and it will not. Whatever. Just be sure you don't turn too soon there and you keep this line kind of straight. I never let off of boost until I get closer to the legs. Be careful where you aim here. There's like a grass patch. It's hard to see because of all the freaking sand, but there's like a grass patch here. I kind of like aim for the edge of. I don't jump. I just let the car ramp and fly like that. You just have to be careful you don't go too far left and hit this rock because it's pretty much over if that happens. So I do one more boost going up the hill, and I'm aiming like right for this target. And what I'm going to do is like halfway up the hill, I'm going to let off the gas because I'm going to do a skid turn to hit the second target. So if you're gassing the full way, you'll lose control of the car pretty easily. So partway up the hill, you'll notice right about there, I let off the gas and then I skid turn to hit this target. And then I'm just going to kind of tap the gas a little bit. See, I watch again right there. So I turn. This is all about controlling your speed with like tapping the gas instead of holding the gas. So you just kind of tap the gas a little bit to help the car turn until you can get all of those targets. That's the big part. Now, I do this part in first person because it helps me, but you don't have to do it in first person. I just prefer to do it because otherwise I end up missing one of these targets a lot if I don't because I can't really see it. You'll notice I'm not pressing the gas. And I'm not gonna press the gas because I'm trying to keep the car at like this kind of medium speed because you want to be going downhill right as the leg drops. You don't want to get there too early, otherwise you have to like stop and brake. So you want to time the car so that right as the leg is coming over is when you start going downhill. You see what I'm saying? And then you're going to kind of sweep the leg or sweep these two targets kind of slowly. And the second that I hit the target on the left after getting both of them, I'm going to boost and gas at the same time. Boom, and then I'm going. When you boost and gas and you have full speed, the radius that the mines spawn in gets bigger. So there's less of a chance of one of the mines just falling on you and like stopping the car. What I'm aiming for here in a second is I'm going to do another skid turn right at the tip of this gravel patch that's right here. And then I'll go over what I do from there. So again, when I'm getting to this leg, I'm trying to control my speed so I'm not going over the hill too fast, trying to time it so I get to the top of the hill and start rolling over just as the leg comes down. Hit the two targets and gas and boost as hard as I can. You obviously need to cut the car left. You kind of have to do some counter steering. You'll see like how much my analog stick kind of whips back and forth here to keep the car from wigging out. It's a little weird. It does take some getting used to. But then I'm going to get to this, into the gravel patch I talked about, and I'm going to skid just like that. You kind of want to like, I kind of think of it like making the tip of the car touch the tip of this while it's turning. So it's almost like a like a hinge. So I'm just trying to put the nose of the car as it's turning against the tip of the gravel. You can see it there, just whoop, and then you hit that target. The very next thing I do is once the car starts to like stop spinning, I'm gonna boost, gas, and I'm gonna jump down the hill. This is when I like first person. So I'm boosting and I'm gassing and I'm gonna jump. And the reason I do this is because you can brake in midair to stop the boost, which you've probably done on the Dune Hopper before. If you just let this boost go on, you're going to approach the next leg too fast to hit the target before you can turn. So you have to stop the boost. But if you don't, like you're not going to get enough speed to get to it if you don't boost. So you have to boost. But if you brake while you're on the ground while boosting, the car slows down way too much and you still have the same problem. So I figured out that if I boosted, jumped in the air, and then braked, and stop the boost midair, the car still hits the ground with some momentum, like this. See what I mean? So watch it again. Boost, gas, jump, brake, and then the car just kind of glides. This is probably like the trickiest sequence in the whole thing, is like this leg and what you do after it is the hard part. This is the hardest leg, is hitting that and then doing this little maneuver and making sure the car like goes. You notice I'm still not using the gas after that. Like after I land, I'm kind of coasting, and I do that until I hit that target, because you don't want to get too much speed just yet, because if you do, I mean, you're not going to hit the target, so you kind of have to be careful. Well, once I get the target, I use just enough gas to like move around the target and angle the car so that when I boost, I don't end up boosting to the side. Notice how I'm like trying to keep the car straight. So do this part again, let the car kind of cruise until I hit the target, and then I'm going to turn, get the car straight, and then I boost. I do not boost until you get the car straight, because you will end up like slamming into the wall. This part's kind of tricky too, you have to be careful. And you have to go on this side, otherwise you can't get the targets. Because where this leg that's just now lifting, if you go on the left side of it and you try to hit the next target, the leg that's coming up right now will come back down and hit you. And it's really, really annoying. So you kind of have to go through this little hole here next to the cliff. But the good part is that it's easy. Like once you're at here, the rest of it is just making sure you can control the car. Drive straight at this target, and you can even do a little hop with the car to be sure you hit it if you're worried it won't work. I don't do it there because I saw I was going to be close enough. But sometimes I'll hop right about here. There's like a little grass patch I used to look at. That's only if I think I'm going to be too slow. Right, like here is where I'll jump to hit the target if I'm scared I'm not going to hit it. So I wait to boost until the car is going downhill right here, because if you boost too soon, the car like slides off the hill like a ramp. So don't boost until you're going downhill here, otherwise you'll lose control of the car. But I'm going to boost again. I'm going to kind of just barely hit this target, and I'm going to turn to the left. You'll notice here too, I don't hold the gas, because for some reason, the car turns better whenever you're boosting without the gas. If you're trying to like do a really, really small turn. If you're trying to do a really hard turn to the left or right, you kind of need to use the gas. But especially while you're boosting, if you're trying to do a very gentle turn, you want to like let off the gas. Otherwise, the wheels like make the car spin out, and that's what makes you do like donuts and stuff. So kind of ease off the gas when you're trying to make a really, really small turn left or right. So anyway, that's what I do here. I boost down the hill. I don't even use the gas until I hit this target, and then I'm just trying to get past the mines that are falling. I don't typically get hit by the mines here very much. It has happened, but it feels really, really rare, which is kind of funny because it looks like they should be like destroying you in this part, because they always fall at the same like rate. So like after you hit this target, if you're doing it fast enough, the mines are going to start falling now as you get past that leg. But again, I don't really have issues with them landing on me. Just be sure you keep shooting the gun in case a mine lands in front of you. So what I'm going to do now is you gotta kind of watch the line I take here. I'm kind of aimed at the corner of this rock. And what I'm going to do is as I go up the hill, right after I can't see this leg on the left-hand side anymore, I'm gonna like do a turn. I did it a little early there, but it still worked out. So I gas, and then right when it's getting to the part where the leg is going to be off camera, I start my skid turn, and I just turn hard left, and most of the time, you'll hit both of them in one go. And be sure you kind of stay back on this hill. Don't go too far forward, otherwise you're really going to struggle hitting these targets. You want to be back on this hillside so that the angle of the shots is looking right at the targets. So let's start from the top real quick again. Be sure you're holding gas and boost through the whole intro because you want to get to the targets as quickly as possible. Keep your lines really, really straight and avoid rocks so you don't hit anything stupid. Go through the middle, flat part of this dune before you turn, and always try to counter turn the car. That's something I should have mentioned before. Notice when I turn left on my control stick, I'm also going to whip it back right to keep the car straight, to keep it from turning out. So I'll turn left and then boom, turn right. Just a little bit to keep it straight. That's just something you have to get a feel for. Boost up the hill, hit this target, let off the gas, skid turn right about there so you can hit that target. Clean up these two while making sure that you're not going really fast in the car. You're just kind of letting it cruise. Control your speed to this hill so that you meet it. You meet the top of the hill when the leg is coming down. Boost immediately as soon as you hit that target and do a big skid turn across the gravel. Do the jump cancel boost here. So like when you boost, jump, and brake in midair, let the car roll until you hit this target and kind of weasel your way in here and do another boost. Hit this target, wait and boost downhill and hit that one. And then wait until the leg is off screen before you do a skid turn to hit the last few. It's hard, but it's consistent. One thing I will mention is at this leg, in particular, this is like a very RNG heavy point. If a mine falls in the way of this target, you really can't do anything about it, because if you hang out long enough for the car to shoot the mine and the target, you end up being a little late on the cycle. So you can just get really unlucky with mines here, and they'll either be in the way of the targets or they'll like get in your path as you're trying to drive around it, and that you can't really do anything about that. Like the stuff I talked about earlier with the boost does help a little bit, but it's not foolproof, so it'll still mess up sometimes. Additionally, even if you do like the strategy with the boost and the gas to manipulate the mine spawn radius, sometimes you'll still get hit as you're driving out this way. Like a mine will just fall on top of you, or it'll hit the side of your car when you're doing the skid turn. Again, that's just kind of part of it. It doesn't happen really, really often if you kind of do it the way that I do it here. Like this is very, it's more consistent than it's not consistent. Like it's not really, really bad in terms of RNG. But it is something you have to keep in mind. Like sometimes mines are just going to mess you up. I have had mines also as I jump through the air here. They've hit me. But that doesn't happen very often either. Most of the time, all of the bad mine RNG happens right here. Whenever the leg is coming down and I'm trying to hit these two targets. That pretty much covers everything though. And if you have any other questions, you can just ask me. I wanted to keep this really short, but it's kind of complicated how this... Like, the strategies are all very, very intentional to make everything as consistent as possible. And it's not just like, LOL, drive good, you know? It's a bit more complicated than that, than the other cycles, to make sure everything stays really consistent. That's all I got.